Topic is dynamic of electrical drives. I am Shraddha Aniket Sawant. This is the quote for motivation. Fundamental torque equation. So let's start with the equivalent motor load system. So a motor generally drives a load through some transmission system. While motor is always rotates, but the load may be rotate or undergo the translation motion. Okay, so this is a load which is connected to the motor shaft. Okay, so if it is directly connected to the motor shaft, then the rotating speed, that is RPM of the load as well as the motor speed will be the same. But if some transmission system the load is connected, means through gear or belt or pulley, then what will happen, the load speed may be different from that of the motor. And if the load has many parts, okay, if the load has many parts or different types of load are connected through this transmission system, means one will be connected with the pulley, second is connected with the gearbox, okay, then what will happen, for the different parts their speed will be different, and some will be rotate and other may go through a transmission motion. Translation motion means horizontally or it is going up and down. Okay, rotational motion means rotating in nature. Okay, let's go with the equivalent motor load system. Okay, in figure it is shown load is directly connected to the motor shaft, and the shaft rotation or motor speed rotation is omega m. T is nothing but motor torque, TL is nothing but load torque. Okay, so what are the notations are there? J is nothing but moment of inertia of motor load system refer to the motor shaft. Unit is kg meter square. Omega m is the instantaneous angular velocity of the motor shaft, omega m, having radian per second as a unit. T or Tm is the instantaneous value of motor developed torque. Okay, so it is in Newton meter. And last is TL, instantaneous value of load torque refer to the motor shaft in Newton meter. Okay, so what is the equation? So load torque include friction and windage losses of motor, windage torque of motor, and if we take this system, the TL load torque, it should be equal to T, as well as some other torques are also present. So your equation will be, fundamental torque equation will be T minus TL is equal to d by dt of J d omega m. Okay, this is your fundamental torque equation. If we elaborate this, it will become T minus TL is equal to J d omega m by dt plus omega m dj by dt. Okay, so if the drive or the system is having constant inertia notation is J, then what will happen, this J will be considered as a constant, so this derivative will become 0. So dj by dt is equal to 0, therefore T is equal to TL, minus will come on this side, TL plus J d omega by dt. So what the equation represents, this torque, this term is known as a dynamic torque equation. Okay, why it is called dynamic torque equation? Not equation, this term is called as a dynamic torque. Why it is called as a dynamic torque? Because this component is only present during the transient operation. Already we have seen transient operation means braking, reversing, starting. So this is only present during the transient operation. otherwise your equation will be T is equal to TL. Okay, so T is equal to motor torque, unit is Newton meter, TL is equal to load torque, unit is again Newton meter, torque is Newton meter. So dynamic torque present during the transient operation, this we have seen, and acceleration is possible when the motor torque is greater than the load torque. Of course, motor, if suppose generate a torque which is greater than the load torque, there will be acceleration is possible. When the system or drive will be deaccelerate, when the load torque is greater than motor torque, means load is now overloaded on a motor, then and then only there will be a deacceleration, there is an decrease in a speed. Constant speed is available or is possible when T is equal to TL, both torques are equal, then there will be no change in speed, there is a constant speed drive. Okay, so drive accelerate or decelerate depend on whether T is greater or less than TL. Done. So during acceleration, motor must supply not only the load torque but also the dynamic torque. Okay, means T motor torque should be equal to TL as well as J d omega by dt. Okay, so in drives with large inertia such as electrical trains are there, motor torque must exceed the load torque by a large amount in order to get the adequate acceleration. Train, that is a traction load is very heavy, so if you want to speed up, if you want to increase the speed, then the motor torque should be very high. Okay, and if there is a transient response, fast transient response is required, then motor torque should be maintained at a high level, and the motor load system should be designed in such a manner that there is a lowest possible inertia. If the inertia is low, then what will happen? Of course, motor will be respond to the transient operations, fast it will respond. So during deacceleration, the dynamic torque has a negative sign. Okay, therefore it assists the motor torque T, means it will oppose the motor torque because there is a deacceleration, decrease in speed is occur, therefore it will assist the motor torque. Next we will see multi-quadrant operation of drives. So let's take a y-axis as a omega m, horizontal axis x-axis is equal to t, omega m is the speed, that is in a radian per second, torque T in a Newton meter. So you will get 4 quadrants, first, second, third and fourth quadrant. Okay, now we have to assume or we have to establish some suitable convention. We have to establish some suitable conventions about the sign of torque and speeds. Okay, so motor speed is considered positive. Listen carefully. Motor speed is considered positive if or when rotating in a forward direction. Okay, for drive which operates only in a one direction, forward speed will be there, normal speed. Okay, so in a loads of up and down motion, the speed of the motor which cause upward motion is considered forward motion. Okay, so what is meant by that? See, if the motor is go in a forward direction, means it towards the right side, it is going like this direction, then or it is going in a upward direction, we will consider it as a forward direction. Okay, and if the lift is going downward direction, it is in a reverse direction. If it is going in a left side, then we can say it is a reverse direction. So with respect to this, all 4 quadrants will be, first quadrant will be forward. Why it is forward? because by sign convention we assume that omega m upward direction, okay, this is the upward direction motion will be considered as a forward direction. Okay, so this speed will be upward, this will be also forward direction. Okay, and if the lift is going downward direction, what we will say, it is in a reverse direction, correct? Have you understood why it is forward and reverse? Because by sign convention we have assumed that positive y axis is nothing but forward direction movement, and if the lift is going downward or negative y axis, reverse direction will be there. Okay, now next, power developed. Depend on the power developed, motor will act as a motoring or braking quadrant. Motor always run in a two quadrants, motoring quadrant and braking quadrant, okay, between operations. So if the power is positive, then we will call it as a motoring quadrant. Okay, if the power is negative, then we will call it as a braking quadrant. So see, in a first quadrant, what is the formula for power? Power developed by the drive is equal to multiplication of omega m and t. Okay, here in a first quadrant, power is positive because omega m is also positive and torque is also positive. Hence, the first quadrant will act as a motoring quadrant, and together we will call it as forward motoring quadrant. Understood why it is forward motoring quadrant? Forward one word come because of this omega m speed is upward direction, and we by sign conventions we assume that upward direction means forward direction. And why motoring quadrant? Because power developed in a first quadrant is positive. And why the power developed is positive? Because omega m and t both are positive. Okay, so this for a second quadrant, omega m is positive but t will be negative, therefore the power developed will be negative, and that's why this quadrant will be braking quadrant. Okay, but it is a not only braking quadrant, it is forward braking quadrant because motor is going upward direction but it is in a braking quadrant. Okay, so third one will be motoring because this is also negative and omega m is also negative, positive, so you will get a motoring quadrant, power develop is positive, and this one is a braking because this term is negative. Okay, understood? The first quadrant is forward motoring, second is forward braking, third quadrant is reverse motoring, and last fourth quadrant is reverse braking quadrant. Okay, now in a motoring quadrant there are two quadrants are more related to motoring, first and third quadrant. Okay, so in a motoring quadrant, motor converts electrical energy to the mechanical energy, okay, which supports its motion. And for a braking quadrant, first, third, second and fourth quadrant, in a braking quadrant it works as a generator. So what we will do, generator converts mechanical energy to the electrical energy and thus oppose the motion. Okay, all points are clear? So in a quadrant second, power is negative. Okay, here in a quadrant fourth also power is negative, that's why it is a reverse quadrant. Okay, for better understand, we will see one example of lift. Okay, so before going to the lift example, we have to go with the conventions. That is, if the lift is going upward, it is a positive speed, that is a forward one. Okay, then lift is nothing but what? It is having, see this is suppose example of lift, this is a pulley or a drum on which the counterweight is connected and loaded cage is connected. So loaded cage is nothing but the lift is going up and down like this. Okay, so we have to assume that weight of the empty cage is less than the counterweight. Okay, if the lift is empty, no one is there, then the counterweight will be high, and if the weight of the fully is fully loaded, means fully it is loaded, lift is loaded with all peoples, then then counterweight will be the less. Okay, these 2 points we have to note down. So we will take first example of this one. First quadrant operation we will see. First quadrant is acts as a forward motoring quadrant, correct? So forward motoring means forward direction of speed, lift should be go up, okay, and motor, why it is motor? Motor means their power should be positive. Power should be positive means speed should be positive as well as torque should be positive. Okay, so see, assume that you are at a 10th floor, okay, calling a fully loaded cage from the ground floor. Okay, you are at a 10th floor and lift is at a ground floor, and in a lift it is a fully loaded. Okay, so what will happen? How the motor will work, that we will see. So first, before going to this explanation, just I am explaining the diagram. This is omega m axis, this is torque axis. Okay, so first quadrant is nothing but forward motoring quadrant. So this is a pulley on which drum is connected, or a motor shaft is connected with the drum. On a drum there is a rope is connected, one end of the rope is connected with the weight, counterweight, and second is connected with the lift. Okay, this is the characteristics of a load torque with loaded cage, and this is the characteristics when the load torque is empty cage. See, in these two quadrants there is a empty cage is there. Okay, in these two quadrant loaded cage is there. So just focus on a first quadrant. Okay, what is going to happen? You are at a 10th floor, correct? Lift should be go up, means you have called the lift from 10th floor and lift is fully loaded. So what will happen? Due to the gravitation force, which part is, or which end of the rope is having the higher weight? Of course, we have assumed first that if fully loaded cage is there, then the weight of the fully loaded cage is higher than the counterweight, correct? Means this is a stationary position because of the gravitation force of the lift. The loaded cage is, or the lift is at a ground level. So motor has to work to leave the loaded cage towards upward direction, correct? Then and then only forward speed will occur. Okay, means this loaded cage should be go up, correct? And this is possible only when motor will act as a motor. Okay, electrical quantity converted into mechanical quantity. Therefore here omega m speed, it is shown by the anti-clockwise direction because lift is going up. Okay, but see, load torque is clockwise direction. Why it is clockwise direction? Because due to gravitation force, loaded cage weight is very high as compared to the counterweight. That's why there is a tendency that load torque will be downward direction, correct? Now, as per the equation of that motor load system or fundamental torque equation, T is equal to TL. Therefore, if the load torque is in a clockwise direction, motor torque should be opposite to that, means it should be in a anti-clockwise direction, correct? Means motor has to work like this in anti-clockwise direction, then and then only lift will go in anti-clockwise direction or lift will go in upward direction, and due to the gravitation force, load torque is a downward direction. So from these three arrows we can see that T and omega m both are in the same direction. Therefore this is a positive power. Okay, and there is a positive power, that's why this quadrant is work as a forward motoring quadrant. Okay, why motoring? Because motor work like this to rotate or sorry to up to lift this loaded cage in upward direction. Okay, now we will see the second quadrant. Okay, now what will happen if you are at a 10th floor and calling a empty cage from the ground floor? Okay, only difference is what? There is a empty cage. Previously it was loaded cage. Now when the empty cage is there, now what is the tendency? We have assumed that empty cage weight is less than the counterweight. Correct? Means what will happen? Due to the gravitational force, counterweight will be go down and automatically lift empty cage will be go up. Okay, means that should be happen, but this is not the working case. See, gravitation force act on the counterweight, therefore automatically lift empty cage will be go up. But here how the motor will work? Here, in order to limit the speed of a lift within a safe value, in order to limit the speed within a safe value, motor must produce a braking torque, okay, in a clockwise direction, so that the lift will go in a speed limit. Okay, have you understood or not? I didn't get. See, in a second quadrant what will happen? Here is empty cage is there, counterweight is high, therefore there is a tendency that due to the gravitation force, counterweight is heavier and directly it will go down, automatically this lift will go up, but it is not in a safe value of a speed. Okay, that's why, see, tendency of the load torque is like this, directly it will go like this in a anti-clockwise direction, but motor has to work in opposite direction, so that lift is going up, but it will go in order to limit the safe value of a speed. Okay, so here by 3 arrows what we can see, the omega m is like this in anti-clockwise direction and the torque produced by the motor is opposite to that, therefore the power here developed will be forward reverse forward braking quadrant. Okay, so motor is now act as a braking quadrant, that is act as a generator. Okay, here it is generating a energy or generating a torque which is opposite to the motion. Okay, already lift is going up, but the motor will oppose the motion and it will create its own torque which is opposite to the motion. Understood? Similarly, in a third quadrant what we can say, here is a empty cage, here is a counterweight. So this is the speed axis. Now what we have to do, you are at a ground floor and you have to call the lift from the 10th floor and that lift is empty. Okay, so by this weight, by comparing these two weights, counterweight is high, empty cage is very low. So what will happen, there is a no tendency, there is nothing happening over here. So motor has to work such that this empty cage will be down. Okay, load is on a opposite side and speed is on a this side. So again here this T and omega m both are in the same direction, therefore this is a reverse motoring quadrant. And similarly for a fourth quadrant operation what we can see, loaded cage's weight is more than counterweight, therefore automatically this loaded cage due to gravitation force fall down, but to in order to limit the speed of a cage within a safe value, motor must produce positive torque in opposite to that motion. This load automatically lift is going downward direction, but motor has to work opposite direction so that it will come slowly to the ground level. Okay, hope you understand. Otherwise, repeat the video. I will upload it on a channel. Okay. Next topic is equivalent values of drives parameter. Okay, so what we have seen, different parts of the load are connected to the motor. Okay, to gear, V belt, then shaft, crankshaft is there. Okay, so these parts having different speed, different types of motion, such as rotational motion and translation motion. So when we are looking for a motor load system and their equivalent torque component and all that refer to the shaft, we have to consider certain parameters. Okay, so if the load is having translation motion, okay, so when the load is having translation motion means, of course, there will be a force, then the mass in a kg of that load, and with the velocity, because it is going in a up and down motion as well as in a horizontal position. Okay, so this is nothing but a translation motion. Example, we can say it is a conveyor, lift. Okay, so conveyor, when they transfer any fuel or any material, then it is having some force, it is having some mass, and it is going with some velocity. Then rotational motion means it is rotating in nature. So if the load is having rotational motion, then it is of course having torque, and there is a J, moment of inertia, unit is kg meter square, and having the angular velocity. Instead of only velocity, there will be angular velocity, which is radian per second. So this is a system loads with a rotational motion. Okay, so loads with a rotational motion means, see, here is a motor, and here directly to the shaft one load is connected. Okay, and through a gearbox there is another load is connected. Okay, so let us consider two loads are there. So this load is directly connected to the shaft with the motor, and other through the gear with N and N1 teeth as shown in figure. Okay, so let the moment of inertia of a motor and a load directly coupled to its shaft is J0. Means this load is directly coupled to the motor, that's why this notation we will consider as a moment of inertia J0. Motor speed and torque, motor speed will be omega m, therefore the load first, which is directly coupled, it is also having the speed omega m. Okay, and the load torque we will consider at a TL0, and for this motor load torque will be T, capital T. Okay, now the gearbox come, N and N1 are the tooth. So this omega m is the speed of the shaft of the motor. After that there is a gear. So have you seen the gears? So gears is having some tooth. Okay, so when gears are there, then what will happen? Of course, with this gear one shaft is connected and the speed will be the different. So as the number of tooths are increased, the speed will be get decreased. Means the gear and speed is having the inversely proportional. Okay, so if the inversely proportion is there, the speed will be depend on the tooth gear. Done. So this load is having the moment of inertia we will consider as a J1, and the load torque will be TL1. Okay, now next. So with respect to the gear, if we write a equation, omega m1 is inversely proportional to n1, and omega m again inversely proportional to n. So omega m1 divided by omega m is equal to n upon n1, which is equal to a1. Okay, so a1 is gear tooth ratio. This is already given to you in problems, or otherwise you have to find by this formula. Okay, so if the losses in transmissions are neglected, then the kinetic energy due to equivalent inertia must be same. Therefore, for the different various parts of the moving part, if we calculate kinetic energy, then what will be the equation? see this, half mv square you have seen for the translation motion. Similarly, this is for the rotational motion, half j omega m square, okay, which is nothing but, j is nothing but total moment of inertia of the system, omega m is the speed of the system. So half of j omega square, which is equal to, this is due to the first part, half of j0 omega m square, this is due to this load, okay, plus second term will come, half of j1, moment of inertia is j1 omega m1 square. This is a simple equation. So if we cut out this or cancel out this half, you will, and omega m square, then you will get j is equal to j0 omega m square will get cancelled, omega m1 square upon omega m, which is nothing but a1 square by this formula. So your normal equation will be total this kinetic energy will be equal to the parts of the addition of the parts of this various parts of the kinetic energy of various parts, and when we cancel out the equation, j is equal to j0 plus a1 square upon a1 square into j1. So if you consider different parts, means here we are consider only two loads, okay, two parts of the load. So if there are so many parts are there, then what will happen, equation will become j is equal to j0 plus a1 square j1 plus a2 square j2 plus dot plus am square jm, okay. Next, similarly, power at the load and motor must be same, okay. So by this diagram, if the power developed here plus power developed here is nothing but the total power, so equation will be, power is nothing but the multiplication of torque and omega m, so load torque into speed of the load, which is equal to the power developed, which is equal to torque due to the first load, speed of the first load, plus torque due to the second load, TL1, speed of the second load, omega m1, and due to the gearbox there is a efficiency term will come. So this is nothing but the efficiency term. Again, if you cut out the omega m, means if we divide that all terms with the omega m, what is the last equation, TL is equal to TL0 plus TL1 upon efficiency, and omega m1 upon omega m is equal to a1, and for generalized equation, TL load is equal to TL0 plus a1 TL1 upon efficiency n1 plus a2 TL2 upon n2 plus dot plus am TLM upon nm. So these are the two equations. So depend on the load, the terms will get added. So we have to design the equation as per the numerical. Next, second type of load. If the load is having the translation and rotational motion. So see, this load is directly connected to the motor, that's why this motor is having the translation motion. Okay, this load is having the translation motion. After that, there is a conversion from rotational to linear transmission, means when the shaft is rotated once, it will go down like this. So that time, this is nothing but your translation motion, this is rotational motion. So what is the equation? Again, this is the kinetic energy of the total system, half of j omega m square, which is equal to kinetic energy of the first part, half j0 omega square plus half mv square. So mv is nothing but m1 v1 square, okay. And such like this, more loads are connected, then just we have to add the terms. So when we cancel out the omega m square, your generalized equation will be j is equal to j0 plus m1 multiply with v1 upon omega m bracket square, okay. Again, power is nothing but the product of torque, so total TL into omega m, which is equal to power developed due to this rotational motion TL0 into omega m plus power due to rotational motion load, which is force into velocity divided by efficiency. And when we divide all the equation with omega m, then this is TL is equal to TL0 plus F1 V1 upon efficiency upon omega m. Okay, so these are the equations. So this is generalized equation with the load of rotational motion. Thank you. For any queries, mail me at shraddhasawant2324@gmail.com.